Hi there, Visionary family, and welcome back to another one with Lady Visionary. Hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become part of this growing family. I believe we're almost at 9,000K subscribers. It's going to be my birthday on September the 18th, and I would love to achieve 10K subscribers. So please do me a favor and share out my videos, share out my content to your family and friends. And if you don't know who I am, you'll have to go back onto my videos and check out some of my videos on Rwanda and my other travels. But I relocated from the UK and I'm now living and doing all things Rwanda. As you come in, because this is going to be a juicy one, as you come in, please make sure that you smash the like button. And I will send out a link if anyone is interested to add to the conversation. I believe this was necessary because there's a lot going around right now, and a lot on the internet about, moving to Africa. You have the diaspora movement. You have so many people who are, some people call it exodus. Yeah, exodus. So a lot of Black diasporans worldwide are choosing Africa as their home, right? Some people are coming because, yes, they want to visit Africa for the first time. For some people, it's a calling. For some people, it's like, reconnecting with their roots. For some, they just want to, just explore the motherland and see what it has to offer. And then for others, I guess, because there's so much that's been shown about Africa now, and they're intrigued, or perhaps they just want to follow the bandwagon. They see others doing it, so they're like, you know what, I want to do it as well. Which it's okay to be inspired, but I definitely feel like, everybody is different and everybody's journey is different. And Africa is not necessarily for everyone. And for me, for those of you who don't know, I first traveled to Africa in 2010. I was the first of my entire family to ever visit Africa, largely because of like ignorance. And also, I think definitely it's about lack of information and the way that the West has portrayed Africa in such a negative light. And that was purposefully done so that, we would be disconnected from our roots, and I think to divide and conquer us. So yeah, for me, 2010 was the first time I visited Africa. That was Ghana. I spent 3 whole months. For those of you who've been around on my channel, my family flipped out when I said I was going to Africa. They thought I was going to catch a disease. They thought I was going to die, although I did contract malaria, which was treated very, very quickly. And I was able to get back on my feet very quickly. But that was a scary moment for me. But I don't know, I just felt like, I needed to see Africa for myself. I knew that there was a different story from what was being portrayed on, European TV. And also, when I got to Africa, I realized that the positive images that were being portrayed about the West were very untrue. A lot of Africans looked at America and Europe as, my goodness, like the land of riches, the land where, you could eat off the floor, and, everything good was in Europe and America. And that was far from the truth. And we see even now where so many Africans are dying in the Indian Ocean, trying to get to the West, and trying to get to the Americas for better opportunities. So I felt anyway that this was a very important topic to speak about, because whilst, yes, it's so important for a lot of us to reconnect with our roots and know where we're coming from and see it for ourselves. I also feel like, or I also think from information that I've gathered from talking to different diasporans, that this is something that you need to just take time to decide on what you're doing as opposed to just jumping on the bandwagon, right? Being someone, so for me, as I said, relocated um, to Rwanda like 2 years and a half ago, over 2 years and a half ago, around there. But prior to that, I visited Rwanda in 2014 for the first time. And after that, I was I was visiting Rwanda every year to see whether it would be a country that I really wanted to move to, and whether it be a place where I could grow, and whether it aligned with my overall vision of what I wanted to do on the continent. For me, I've known for a very long time, I'd say from my teenage years, that I wanted to be in Africa, and Africa was my calling. And so it was very plain to me that eventually I would move to Africa. I didn't know where, but my search and my journey of visiting different African countries landed me on Rwanda. I loved the leadership. I could see that, every year when I was coming to Rwanda, what was said, the agendas that were set were being met, and I was like, right, this is really looking very positive, but also I could see that there's still a lot of challenges on the ground, and that would take years and years to build. And I knew that also moving to Africa, I needed to have a different mindset, a different level of resilience, a different level of patience, a different level of how I looked at life and how I was going to develop, and in Rwanda, build legacy and also be a part of development and drive change in the country. So before I go any further, I would just like you to smash the like button. Let me know where you're listening in from. Allow other people to join before we get into this hot topic, right? So let me know where you're listening in from. Do you have anything you want to contribute to the conversation? Have you relocated from the West or from the Americas? What are you doing on the continent? Should every diasporan visit Africa? What do you think that Africa is for every diasporan? So I think it's important for us to have this conversation because the move to Africa should not just be taken lightly, like everybody is doing it, so I will do it. Actually, it can turn out to be more negative than positive if you're not well prepared. And, in a lot of cases where you haven't prepared well for this move, or in terms of like just a total mind shift, then you can be left lost and thinking, well, you know what, this is not for me. As I said previously, coming to Rwanda, I knew a lot of the challenges that I may face on the continent, and some I would say that I was not really prepared for, right? I just kind of was learning as I went along. So and that would require that I have a certain level of open-mindedness, and as I said, just be resilient as I was kind of going through the journey. And I've shared a lot with you on the channel. Some of you have been following me for the longest time, and some of you are quite new, so you'd have to kind of follow up with a lot of my previous videos. But anyway, I'm going to start from the very beginning, right? So when I decided to relocate to Rwanda, we were so excited, very, very, very excited. We got into the country, and we were just just feeling amazing to be on the continent. We're in Kigali, and we were meeting lots of people, and people were kind, and Rwandan people are very, very kind. My husband, who's Rwandan, had been out of the country for a while, so we were very much relaxed, you know. But anyway, in that maybe first 2, 3 weeks, no, it may have been a month after being in Rwanda, you know, we ended up being tricked and lost money in the process. But um, yeah, we lost money in the process because, you know, coming from the West or coming from America, a lot of the people think, well, you know, you have money, and if you lose a couple of thousands, then it's not really an issue because you're a millionaire. I've actually been told that my bank account has no end. So you know, I claim it, I receive it. Definitely want to receive it because I need to build my legacy. So yeah, we lost money in the first month of being in Rwanda. But what I love about Rwanda is that Rwanda works, and you know, we were able to eventually, you know, get all of those people arrested. It was like a coordinated group of 7 people that were eventually arrested, and then we were able to recover our money through the RIB. RIB, they call it RIB here. So we were able to recover our money that was basically stolen from us. So you know, obviously that did put a downer on us, but then we also had to kind of wise up and I guess become more sharp and aware of our environment. And you know, not everybody that's set, like, you know, people will want to gravitate towards you because, you know, of this perception that they have of people coming from the West and the Americas, unfortunately. So you have to kind of be careful and be able to discern, you know, the people that are in your circle, and not just bring everyone in because you've landed in a country and you're like, my God, I'm on the motherland, I'm connecting with my brothers and sisters. Like, they have been conditioned through you know, European media and the picture that's depicted of the West, where we're coming from, or the Americas. It's one of that we are very rich and, you know, well off. So, you know, as I said, that people will gravitate towards us because of those reasons. And we got to understand that the environments that we're in. A lot of you know, in Africa, or you know, I think the average salary per day right now, it used to be like back in 2010, it used to be $1 a day. I think that's now moved to $2 a day. And a large percentage of the populations within Africa fall below the breadline. So they do have like that hustling kind of mentality, you know, which a lot of diasporans have spoken about, like, you know, having to haggle and you know, being overcharged, or you know, the prices being doubled. But I spoke about this in a previous video that Rwanda is trying to counteract that by through policy. So making sure that service providers do display their prices, so that when you go into any establishment who's offering services or products, you can actually see the prices for yourself. So that prevents you from you know, maybe feeling a certain way or getting into arguments because you feel like you've been scammed or robbed, and so on and so forth. So it's something that Rwanda is still working on, and a lot more. I can see that a lot more shop owners are displaying their prices, but not necessarily all their prices. Because even recently, actually, when I went into a store to buy something, and I asked, okay, what's the price? And they told me the price. But when I looked on the board, the price was less. And I was just like, you know, I was basically telling them off, saying, you know, this is something that you shouldn't do, you know, you should be fair with your prices. And that's why the government is trying to stamp down on this, because it can be off-putting for the visitors that come here. And you know, how about giving a good service that somebody would actually want to come back and spend more in your shop? So really kind of trying to educate the people, rather than getting frustrated, although I was a little bit frustrated. So after that incident happened in Kigali, just kind of going back, we had another incident where, a lot of you know that we were building our hotel, so we were trying to put things together, and we're not millionaires, like, choosing to come to Africa and build this legacy. It's a really daring one. It's a very ambitious one. So you can imagine, like, losing money is not an option, right? So anyway, there was this person that we employed on our farm, and basically he didn't have any intentions to actually work for us. His intention was just to come, observe our environment, and then steal from us, and then exit. And that's exactly what he did. After observing our space for about 4 or 5 days, he really got a feel of the environment, and some of, like, just some of our processes, and just was able to, as I said, take that opportunity and steal from us. But again, we were able to catch him. This was because we no longer recruit informally. We have to have your ID. We have to have a contract with our employees, so that if anything goes wrong, we have a better chance of recovering our money, or finding that person who has done our company wrong. So in the end, thankfully, we were able to track him down and hand him over to the police, and they dealt with the case. And again, in this instance, we were able to recover the money from what he had stolen. Okay, excuse me, guys. Excuse me. So again, let me just take a moment to greet you guys. This was a completely, I know, random conversation. So it wasn't a random conversation, but it was something I was thinking about, but I didn't have time to put my notes in order, right? So I've just decided to come and speak on the whim. But if you have any specific questions that you do want to ask me related to this topic, then you can go ahead and do so in the comment section. So we have diversity. Is it diversity love in the building? Diversity love saying hi there. Diversity love, I think we need to abandon colonial structures and build systems of resilience. ATM Tim saying hello, Lady Visionary, hi to you. Carrie Rains, hey, how have you been? LV saying hello and looking forward to the conversation. Glad to have you in the building. If any of you have questions, please make sure that you send them out in the comment section, or if you have anything to add, then again, we are happy to hear from you in the comment section. So yes, so what I really want to emphasize, okay, so we have DC in the building as well. Let me just send out the link for anybody who wants to come in and join the conversation. Let me do that right now, and then I can continue with some important points that I want to deliver in this live chat. So bear with me, guys. So there is the link coming out right now. How long have you been back in your country? So I've been back probably about 5 weeks now since I left for the UK, and I'm now back in Rwanda. So I've been here, but I think about 5 weeks, or it could be 4. I really haven't been counted, seriously. But I really want to emphasize something for people to know, and I will specifically speak on Rwanda and I guess my challenges that I faced, and what a lot of people coming to Africa, to Rwanda, have to really kind of think about in depth before they make any major life changes. Moving anywhere is, a challenge in itself. For some people, it's moving from one state to the other. Moving from one area to another, it can be quite unsettling, quite a big challenge, right? And as I said, and I've said repeatedly on my channel, that moving to Africa requires um, the ability to adapt, the ability to be resilient, the ability to be patient. Patience is one of the biggest things I have emphasized. And Africa has, or should I say, Rwanda has humbled me in such a way that, I have patience that I never knew I had, you know, which I believe, is transferable to so many different life events and situations. If you just kind of have patience and work through the challenges, then you can achieve. Okay. I had someone in the I had a participant in the back office. If you come back in, I will let you in. Sorry about that. So I emphasize on those three things. Being able to adapt, resilience, and patience is key, because if you don't have that, then you basically will not survive with your move. And we've got ATM Tim in the building.
Hello.
Hello, ATM Tim. How are you? Welcome.
How are you doing, Lady Visionary?
Hello, sorry, what was that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic, fantastic. Nice to hear from you. What do you have to add to this conversation?
Um, wow, a lot. Um,
We're willing to hear from you. I think the people are here. They want to hear from us. So let's go.
um, yeah, I just actually got back from Africa in March, like the beginning of March. I didn't
Where
know
were
you had.
you?
I was in Nairobi, Kenya,
Ah, okay.
and I stayed out there for about 2 weeks. And
The connection, the connection. So we can't hear you, ATM Tim. So I'm going to ask you to go out and then come back in for us. I'm going to ask you to go out and come back in for us. So yes, I emphasize, so for those of you coming in, that you need to have these three things: patience, resilience, and what was the last one? We got PTs in the building. Yeah, and just being able to adapt. Just being able to adapt is so critical. Like, Africa is a totally different ball game in comparison to the West and the Americas, what we've been used to, the structures, the development, the processes, they are very, very different in Africa, right? Let me tell you something now. And most people, if they don't have patience, they won't survive. If they're not willing to wait, if they're not persistent, keep going after what you want, then you're basically not going to be successful here. So there have been processes, even though Rwanda obviously has made tremendous progress, and it has, one of the things that we can enjoy here is that it has policies and systems that work effectively. But there have been occasions where, I'm talking from my own experience, where, something that should take maybe 6 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, has taken over a year. There has been instances where a process that should take 3 months has taken 2 years, right? Okay, so we've got ATM Tim back in the building with us. Um, are you
Can you hear me
there?
now?
Okay, yes, we can
Can
hear you.
okay. I'm sorry about that.
No
You want
problem.
me to start all over?
Yes, please
Okay.
start all over for us. So you were saying that you were recently in Nairobi, Kenya.
Yeah. I went to Nairobi, Kenya, for about a week and a couple of days. And then I went to Mombasa, which is like 6 hours away from Nairobi, Kenya. It's like the
Hmm.
beach. But I had a very nice time, but I had some experiences that is kind of life. Well, so I feel like I should have did more research, but I feel like you learn some stuff once you get there.
Of course.
You know, you can't you can't learn everything off YouTube and what people tell you. You gotta learn from
Exactly.
experience. So I learned a lot from experience, and for the most part, people were pretty good. But uh, a lot of people when I got there were telling me the stuff to look out for and be aware. Of course, you should be aware of your surroundings, but I got a lot of information that I would have, never knew. Like uh, crazy, like people do crazy stuff in Africa, just like everywhere else in the world. But it was some stuff that I heard that people do out there that I never would have thought. But overall, I wanted to go out there and build, and I think I need to go back out there to experience more. Damn, kind of all over the place. But
No, no, no. I understand. So, you were there. You had some experiences.
mhm.
Can you share with us some of your experiences? Because I feel like this will be also important for others to learn from.
The experiences, like the prices of things.
Yes.
People people put their tax on stuff sometimes. Like the rides. I see when I first started going out there, I wasn't using Uber or Lyft. I was just getting a driver and to drive me around places, and they were like overcharging me a lot, a lot of money. I didn't know
Yeah.
till people was telling me like, "Hey, you shouldn't be paying that much. You should be paying this much." So I would advise people to use Uber when you go out to Africa, and if you feel comfortable with your driver, then I think you should keep that driver. But I started using Uber and it saved a lot of money in the process. And far as food wise, I went to a lot of nice restaurants. We went to some what do you call them, like street food. We went to a lot of street food places, but people were telling me if you coming from the west, don't go to all the street food places. I'm kind of picky where I eat anyway, but I wanted to try some new African food out there. I've never ate African food in my life until I went to Africa. But but yeah, the food was amazing. We went to some places called Java. It's pretty big out there in East Africa. I don't know if you
Yep.
heard of Java. Yeah, Java is pretty
Mm.
good. Um, what else? What else? I went. I went to a couple tourist spots. I went to the safari, uh, the Karen Blixen Museum, uh, Fort Jesus. Um, Dang, I can't think of everything I went to. It
Mm.
was a lot of
So,
places,
so
but
let's.
go ahead.
I just want to take you back a bit. So,
Hmm.
this was your first time in Africa, is that correct? Or
Yes, first
so
time
first
ever.
time in Africa. What did you do to prepare yourself for your visit to Kenya?
What I do? So okay, let me go back even further. So I've been wanting to go to Africa for the last 2 to 3 years, and what I had done 3 months prior to coming to Kenya, I saved up a lot of money, worked hard, and I bought my plane ticket and just saved up as much money as possible and bought the necessities that I would need to go out there. I didn't really need much when I went out there, but I had my suitcase, my charger, what do you call it? The universal charger adapter. I had me a solar panel thing to charge my phone when I was out in the countryside. Um, what else?
So did
I
you
had to
connect? Sorry,
go
did you
ahead.
think about connecting with other diasporans who were living in Kenya or visited Kenya? So that would have been a means by which you could gather more information about the environment that you were going into. Perhaps I'm saying this because perhaps this could have helped you in terms of learning more about the
Actually,
prices that you were
actually,
paying and obviously being overcharged.
Actually, I didn't. I had one person that I could have connected with, but they weren't really like showing me like hospitality. So really, I kind of did it all by myself. The only person that I had with me was God, and this is my first. I went by myself. I went by myself, and I went by myself, and
Oh, a little baby there.
I know. Uh, but no, I didn't reach out to any diasporans, or I just went by myself and just went. Hey, it was my first time going to Africa, and I was a little nervous, but you know, I I just had to make do with what I had, the money that I went over there with. My plane ticket cost me like 1,500 for a round trip, and I had to
Hmm.
have extra money to carry with me when I was out there, and what else? But my goal, my main mission to go to Africa is I had purchased some land out there in Kenya, and I
Okay.
was going to go see it and check it out and make sure everything was legit. And that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story.
Uh-oh.
But
Uh-oh.
yeah,
We
yeah,
need
yeah,
to know.
yeah.
We need to know what happened. So was there what did you purchase this online?
Yes, through YouTube actually. This guy was on YouTube promoting and selling land to Americans. And when I went over there, right, I went over there and I talked to his lawyer, and then I talked to some other people. Then I talked to another lawyer, and they were telling me, uh, this is conflict of interest, and the things that the person is doing is not legal. So I tried to get my money back, and they were telling me the details on why it was illegal and stuff like that. And it's an ongoing case right now. But um, yeah, I went all the way
So
out there and go
mm,
ahead.
mm. So what advice maybe would you give to someone? Because obviously this is Kenya is known for a country where the land process is not
Mhm,
straightforward, and we've heard a lot of cases coming out of Kenya to do
mhm.
with like duplication of sale of the land and scam. So what made you go ahead with purchasing online? Because
Per-
obviously you're now in a
I
situation where
I just it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a leap of faith, and I really trusted the person and believed in the person, and it was a stupid mistake by me for doing that, but um but I would recommend people to go see your land and go pull up to where you want to purchase land and make sure you go through the right procedures, because it'll be worth it in the end. But I went all the way out there, but I didn't let it really get to
yes,
me. But I still had a great time in Africa, and I feel like it's people who want to do good business out there in Africa, and I still
yes.
would uh, go back out there and build and buy more land, but I have to go through the right people, and that's really all it's
Yeah,
really about,
and I
going through
just
the right
I
people.
think I think it's really important that obviously you came on and was able to share this with us because obviously there has been cases I've lost money and
Hmm.
recovered that money, but there will also be other diasporans who will you know sometimes yes, you want to take that leap of faith, you want to
Uh-huh.
trust and so on, but I think we need to be very careful because a lot of the times we're saving up money. That
Uh-huh.
money didn't just come overnight. We had to sweat for it.
Uh-huh.
So when you lose money, it can be quite disheartening, and it can kind of throw you off your journey because you're like, I've been scammed. This is money I've saved up. Because when I lost money, I was very angry. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was
Yes.
very, very
Yes.
angry. And it was about to put a dampening on my whole experience. But the fact that I was able to recover the money and also tell myself like, okay, you know what, I'm still going to press ahead regardless. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So having, I guess, that resilient spirit, like I'm not going to give up, but we're like
Mm-hmm.
us, the diasporans, we are targeted. Whether
Mm-hmm.
that would be on the internet or whether that would be in person when we arrive on the continent, we are targeted. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just being aware. And I tell people, and I will tell people again, like whatever is going to be for you will never escape you. So um
Mm-hmm.
I just say, like, just take your time, be patient, just kind of look around, do your research, connect with people before you make any decisions that
Yes.
may potentially cost you a huge loss. Because when
Yes.
that happens, then we have the diaspora community that starts to say, oh, they start to look at everybody the same. They start
Mm-hmm.
to look at other YouTubers the same, and it really kind of affects the relationships that we're able to build, and it really kind of divides us and separate us from the real things that we should be doing together. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that here in Rwanda, where people have gone through some similar um, situations, and they'd be like, because they're now painting everybody with the same brush, they may be like standoffish, like with Lady Visionary, or standoffish
Mm-hmm.
with another person.
Yes.
But again, like, I love that you're so kind of focused in a way that you're like, okay, this has happened, but
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned from this, but I still want to continue with my journey, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to do it. And now that I know, I definitely need to do it in these steps, and this is the right way. And also, one of the things I kind of love about Rwanda is that it's very difficult to duplicate or get into any situations with regards to land, because they have a very robust process about how land is obtained, how land is transferred from one
Mm-hmm.
person to the next. So I'm not saying those cases don't happen, but it's
Mm-hmm.
very, very rare
Okay.
for us here in Rwanda.
And I've seen you out there in Rwanda, and Rwanda now a lot of people are going to Rwanda. They're saying it's like one of the safest cities in Africa, and I don't know how. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
So, was it easy for you to find land out there, or was it kind of challenging to find land, or did you have to like go through certain people to find the land, or you just went out there and seen like a sign out there, land for
For
sale, or how
me,
how was the process?
because I know the process of buying land here in Rwanda, you
Mm-hmm.
every parcel, every plot has a something that they call a UPI number, or a number that
Mm-hmm.
when you could put it into the system, whether, yeah, if you put it in through the government system, the name of that person comes up, the the square meters comes up, and then what else also comes up is what the land is for, because here land is designated. So you have land that's designated for commercial, agriculture, residential,
Okay.
and so on.
And let
So
me
that
let me
somebody, yes, go
not to
ahead.
cut you off. So the land that I bought was ancestral land. Do you know anything about ancestral land?
Well, you can tell us, because if I start to ramble, I probably, yeah. So
No,
let
I
us
don't.
know.
I don't really know about ancestral land. They were saying that you can't really build on it. They were saying that the person like the what is it the tribe the person who owns the land, like the king or whoever is on the land, who's uh, above everybody, they the only ones that can build on ancestral land, from what I hear. But that was my first time ever hearing about ancestral land, so
Mm.
it
We
was
don't
it
have
was it
anything
was
like
different.
that in Rwanda.
Okay,
Like, what we
okay,
have is like, um there's certain parts of the land that is protected,
hmm,
some of it, so that would fall under kind of government land. And
okay,
you are allowed to, depending on what you want to do, you can submit a proposal to the government, and
hmm,
they may or may not allow you to do that project on the land. Do you understand?
okay,
But
yes,
yeah, it's very different here. Every parcel, every plot is allocated for a specific use. So you have to make sure that, okay, if you want land to build, that you're not buying land that's solely for agricultural purposes.
okay,
And as I said, every plot has a UPI, a number. So when you put that into the system, you will know whether the person who is selling that land to you is legitimate or not, right? And you
hmm,
can ask for their ID to see whether, because they have the Rwanda national ID. So you can ask for their ID to ensure that that ID and that parcel actually fits together, so that you know that you're not dealing with someone who has nothing to do with the land and are just basically trying to scam you out for your money because, you know, you're coming from Europe or you're coming from the Americas. So that makes the process here very easy. And then when you're doing the final exchange of the land, that has to be done through a government um, land office. So yeah, that has to be done through a government land office
Did
in the very
did
end
you
for you to get your papers.
did you go with a Rwandan person to purchase the land? Because, like I said, they charge foreigners a little bit more than they'll charge, well, a lot more than they'll charge actual people from that country.
Yes, of
Did
course.
did you go with a Rwandan person when you
So
purchased the land?
my husband is Rwandan, but also
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah, and also, you know, I before even purchasing, I can speak to the land officer, which will kind of give me like a little bit of a gauge about the land prices in the area. But sometimes it's really just about negotiating with the local person.
Okay.
Automatically anyway, you'll be priced a little bit more because you're a foreigner. And the local people will get the land for a better price because they know, and you know, they don't look at them like, oh, they have so much money. So automatically we get a different price. So, you
Okay.
know, I know that I've paid a little bit more for land that I've purchased, but I'm like, at the same time, it's been very useful for the local people as well. So some of them have been able to go on and purchase other lands as well as like send their children to school and university. Um, so yeah, but you know, in a lot of these countries you are significantly overpriced. So even before purchasing, I would say, you know, speak to different local people within the area that you want to purchase. So for me, if when I want to buy land, I'll just show up in the rand, like I will just show up and start talking to the local people. Like I don't
Okay.
tend to use a middleman. I only really use a middleman for communicating or yeah, for communicating for the language barrier. But I'm the one that says, okay, well, this is the price I want to pay, and so on and so forth. So I do a lot of the negotiations through translator, or if a lot of the times I'm with my husband. So, but yeah, finding out the prices, speaking to different people, and getting sort of a gauge of the prices that you should be paying, and then take it from there. But a lot of the times, yes, we want land, you know, the motherland and so on and so forth. But when people kind of see that, you know, okay, he's desperate or she's desperate to get this land, and you show that, then they use that as a way of kind of bleeding you money, you know. So and then you end up losing in the end because they're just out to get money, and you don't get what you need in the end, which is your land. And some, in most cases, a lot of these people cannot be found. But luckily, Rwanda is a very, very small country. So I've been able to find those people, or you know, through the help of the police system, and been able to
And not to,
recognize,
not to
yeah.
cut you off, but so when you're in Africa, calling the police is like basically the way to handle land scammers, right?
Yeah, so you go and report your case to the police, but I know in a lot of cases, because of the way the setup, the corruption, and so on and so forth, Rwanda's a place where, you know, corruption is not is very low. It's not tolerated here. So,
Hmm.
you know, when you report your case, it is taken seriously because even recently there was a lady from the UK. This was a couple of weeks back that I think someone had broken into her car and stolen like say about $4,000 around there. But
Hmm.
she reported it and was able to recover the full amount through the support of the police service here in Rwanda.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, we are targets, but at the end of the day, I haven't allowed that to stop me from moving forward and just continuing to build my legacy. I think a lot of people have seen my journey on YouTube. It hasn't been an easy one. I've had to send out some tweets to Rwanda, and I've been called into government meetings to find out what my issues are and how the government of Rwanda could help with some issues that I wanted to be addressed. And Rwanda is a country that listens, so I'm really kind of grateful to be in a place where, because they want to develop and they want to progress, they're willing to listen. So I was called into a meeting with the CEO of the Rwanda development board in Kigali, and they sat with me, and I spoke about electricity issues, I spoke about road issues, I spoke about land issues, I talked about water issues, and this is an ongoing thing, but they are, as we speak, they are working on those issues that I addressed, maybe not quick enough, because Africa's again a whole different ball game. The speed at which we're used to in terms of things being done, we can find that the systems here can be a lot slower. But the main thing is that since my meeting which was on December the 20th of last year, I am seeing progress, but I have to keep on following up and following up and following up. That it really does become exhausting, but it's also rewarding, because I know that my work here is not in vain, and I am seeing progress. Whereas a lot of people would be like, you know what, this is long, this is too much waiting around. Again, I've had to wait 2 years for a process that should only take 3 months, and that's a lot of time. Some people don't have that time on their hands to wait. But again, you have to be patient. And I think one of the reasons why I wanted to do this conversation is because, I think about, I was in the UK some weeks back, and people have asked me, do I miss the UK? How was it when you were there? And when I was there, it was great because I got to see my family and so on. But there's so many issues. I spoke about mental health. I spoke about, just different things, people vandalizing, people being homeless, sleeping in the bushes, that, homelessness has really kind of, increased, and the cost of living. So a lot of people are struggling with mental health. There's an increase in suicidal rates and things like that. So it's a really tough time. Again, you have issues around institutionalized racism as a whole, and a lot of people are trying to escape those things where, even these days, young children are as young as 3-4 years old are being exposed to a lot of things that I think are inappropriate for their age. And so it makes me think that, I've made such a fantastic choice in terms of relocating from Europe with my children, because I've got 2 kids. Although there are days when, you have your good days and you have your bad days where I'm chasing things, or, I want things to happen faster and it's not happening, and I have to chase, I'm chasing this person, I'm chasing that person. It becomes so exhausting. But when I really kind of reflect and I look at everything holistically, I know that I've made the right choice, and I know that, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I think some diasporans, when they leave America, a lot of diasporans from America, they're escaping the violence, the police brutality, looking over their shoulders, not knowing whether it be them next, saying I can't breathe, not knowing whether they will be the next George Floyd. And so I think also when the diaspora come to Africa, or they come, for example, to Rwanda, they start complaining about a lot of things. But and they quickly forget what they had to escape, or they're trying to escape in America, So it's always good to kind of reflect back and think, well, go back to your why. Why did I leave America? Why did I come to visit Africa? Why is it that I'm here? What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to achieve? And again, for a lot of us who have children and grandchildren, and we're building a legacy, we want to leave something behind for them. um, there's a real purpose behind what we want to do. We want to live a more free, satisfying life, and I believe that the cultural shock for a lot of the diasporans kind of creates a blur and prevent them from understanding why they came, or why they left the US or Europe. And I think it's so important to go back to why am I doing this? And so you wouldn't blame it on anyone else. And also, if when things go wrong, or if you have challenges, because the challenges are there. The moving to Africa is no joke. Moving to Africa is no joke. I've spoken on numerous occasions about the language barrier, which is a significant issue for a lot of diasporans who have moved to Rwanda. Communication, again, is key. You have to be willing to adapt in terms of trying to learn the language here, which is Kinyarwanda,
Do they
which again,
do they speak
sorry, go ahead.
Swahili? Do they speak
Yeah,
Swahili
you
in
will
Rwanda?
find some people who speak Swahili, like my husband also, he speaks Swahili. So you will find people who speak Swahili, French, yes, but then that confidence in English, or people who speak English, yeah, it can be very, very challenging. And then when you're not connecting, or being able to clarify things because of the language barrier, that can become so frustrating. And I'm talking from experience. But again, being patient and just kind of learning word by word, like word for word, and also just learning a sentence here and there, learning my numbers here and there, and then being able to practice that in the spaces when I go out and I interact with people, has been of tremendous value. But Kinyarwanda is not the easiest language to to learn. And for a lot of people, that can be very, very frustrating. So I want people to um, really think about the decisions that they're making before, um, you know, saying that they're going to leave America, because in some cases it can be worse for them. So,
Mhm.
you know, if you haven't planned well, or if you haven't prepared well, it can be an absolute disaster. It can be an absolute nightmare. And
Mhm.
in many cases, we will see people who've decided now to go back to the West, go back to the Americas, where the situation there is not getting any better. So
And
again, mental health will kick in, and so on and so forth.
and I've noticed a lot of Diasporians are coming back to America. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I've noticed a whole lot of people are coming back, but it's still people over there, that's still, wanting to stay out of America. But it's a whole lot of people coming back to America. But
Sorry, your sound is cutting in and out. Let's try that again. Sorry, you said you have noticed that a lot of diasporans are coming back to the
back
US.
to America. Yes, they're coming back
Yes.
to America, and I don't know the reason why, but it's a lot of them coming back, and I'm like, wow, they made it look real great when they went over there, but a lot of them are coming back, and I don't know the reason why, but I want to get out of America because it's too
Mm.
much going on all
Yeah.
around.
So
But
yes. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you, but I think the very conversation that I'm having right now with you, and what I'm identifying, and I'll reiterate it again, what I'm identifying from the diaspora, just
mhm,
through conversation, and also obviously people who are thinking about leaving and who have already left.
mhm,
Um, for some people, they're on a journey, and I guess they just wanted to come and visit, and
mhm,
then realizing that space is not for them, or an actual, or actually one of the big ones is the culture shock, right? The
Mm-hmm.
culture shock, the language, not coming well prepared,
Mm-hmm.
not connecting well with the right people and falling into the hands of the wrong people. They have lost money. They feel
Mm-hmm.
deceived. They feel like,
Mm-hmm.
who can they trust? You know, they're not prepared to make the changes or adapt because they think it's too hard. And that's one of the things that's kind of is to our disadvantage or to our downfall, is that when we are faced with challenges and we just think, well, it's too hard, you know what, I'm going back. And oftentimes when I myself want to give up, I'm like, look, our ancestors are true
Mm-hmm.
exampleship of how resilient we are as people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I give up when I've not gone through hard, like I haven't gone through anything
Mm-hmm.
in comparison to what our ancestors went through.
Wow.
Imagine being chained to members of your community. You
Wow.
know, you're limited in how you can move. You're in a confined space. You're branded with a hot iron, with the initials of the slave owner. You have to, do everything in the same room. You have to urinate, defecate on yourself. Um, you're in the urine and feces of other people, like, and still we're here. How did we survive over 400 years of slavery and we're still here? So that gives me tremendous strength and helps me to believe that, you know what, I am
Mm-hmm.
more resilient than I think I am. If
Mm-hmm.
they did that, boy, what can I do? What can we do?
Right.
And so
And
and so often we're used to this popcorn society, like, we want things to happen now. It's like,
mm-hmm.
you put popcorn in the microwave, boof, you just start earning money. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not like that in Africa. It may take time for you to really understand the market. How do I make money in this environment? And a
Yes.
lot of people coming in haven't found ways in which they can sustain themselves. So the easiest way is to run back to America. And that's not always the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the reason for me going to Africa, it was a spiritual journey, and it was like a journey to, like, well, I was like the first person in my family to go to Africa. And
Mm.
I see that I motivated a lot of people. I didn't know me going over to Africa will motivate a lot of people to go. Like, I have so many people reaching out to me like, wow, you just motivate me. You just made that look easy. But that was just my first time going to Africa, and I feel like I need to go back really soon. So as soon as I, save up some more money, and I don't know where I want to go yet, but I've been looking at a couple places, either Uganda or maybe I've been looking
What,
at Rwanda
Uganda?
too. No, no, Ghana,
Okay.
Ghana or Rwanda. I've seen a lot of people were starting
Ghana,
to go out
Ghana.
too.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay. So your
I'm s-
your voice is kind of crackling in and out. Let's try that again.
I'm sorry. I
Okay,
said
go ahead.
um it's probably my headphone. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I said I want to go to Ghana or Rwanda, and if I
Yes.
have to, how far is Rwanda from Kenya? Is it far?
Not far at all. You can be here in about 3 hours, three, four
Is that
hours. Yeah,
taking a airplane?
about that. Yeah, by aeroplane.
Okay. Uh, yeah. So I've been thinking about going back to Kenya, but I definitely want to visit Rwanda because I just see and hear that it's a nice country, and I've seen you out there. You've
Definitely.
been out there. Go ahead.
I think Rwanda should be, if you have the able to, I think Rwanda would definitely be, something, so a country that I would recommend that you at least visit, But I also, because you said that you were in Kenya for 2 weeks, and I say to people now that 2 weeks is not enough. But I understand, you may be working according to a certain budget. But I say to people, if you can, like, do a month, 2 months, 3 months, at least a 3 months visit to really kind of, get in, getting to the culture, really understand what you're getting into, because it is a life-changing decision when you decide to relocate and invest in a place and bring your money, bring your family. Again, people coming with kids, you just have to be mindful, because those kids who are a bit more grown, who are teenagers, they're developing, they have their own mind, the way that they want to do things. They also have obviously they have developed friendships and bonds with people in the country that they're coming from. So that can be really, really hard, really, really hard. And what I'm finding also is a lot of the diaspora, and I think I need to address this, obviously, when they come, they're in this, they're really in this state of culture shock. But this is how the people here have lived for so long, and they're coming into this new environment, and obviously finding that there's a lot of challenges. And you must understand that, a lot of these countries, they're developing. Africa, is a developing, so many countries that are developing. And so where people may look at that and be like, oh my God, they're so behind. But I always say, like, because there are opportunities here on the continent. You just have to touch down on the ground and be like, you automatically, you're like, my God, I see this opportunity, I see that opportunity. But instead of what I find is that instead of the diaspora like saying, okay, how can we come together and work on this particular problem where we can find a business solution, you just find people going, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And they're not really offering any real solutions. And I believe that with every problem, there is a business solution, right? So if you have identified something that's quite significant, again, which in a lot of cases no one is doing, why don't you address that through business services?
Right.
So that's something I want to address with the diaspora is that we're coming through with skills and ideas, and when we identify these problems, turn it into a business solution, because that's what Africa needs. They're not there yet. These countries are developing countries. They need skills, they need ideas, and a lot of the young people are unemployed. Unemployment amongst young people in Africa is such a significant issue, right?
That's
And
one thing I learned. Most people that I would walk around, they would say, "There's no jobs available." That's the number one thing I would hear. I was like, where are all the jobs? Like, why is there no jobs?
Yes, there's a significant issue around that. We don't have enough business services or businesses that can employ these people, right? So that's why the diasporans coming in, when we see problems, because a lot of the times we're saying, okay, I need to find something that I can do, which is going to sustain me whilst I'm here. So if you've identified a problem, why not start researching and finding out whether your solutions would actually work? And even going as far as trying to connect with like Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, these different ministries, telling them about the project that you want to do, and perhaps they can support you to move forward with those projects. Like here we have the Rwanda Development Board, we have one stop center that has everything. So you can go in and speak to someone about your idea, and you can get guidance on what you want to do. You're well supported. Whereas other countries, it may not be clear in how you can address those issues. Whereas in Rwanda, at the Rwanda Development Board in Kigali, you can go to the one-stop center and you can speak to someone with regards to your particular business idea or business solution. So that's there, And I think one of the things that kind of plagues our community is that we often think, oh, maybe, oh, this is too hard, or who will I
Mm-hmm.
get to connect with me on this? But if you never get started, you never know.
Yep.
I've just been like, I'm here, like I relocated, I started to I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do a hotel project. I
Mm-hmm.
knew that it wasn't going to be easy. Again, navigating the way, finances, language barrier, dealing with challenging people, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew some of the challenge that I may face. And then even through that, the development and building process of my hotel, I met so many obstacles that I was just like, oh my God. There was a day where I even said to my husband, book my flight. I am out of here. But then I had to just take that moment. In all of that, I had just had to take a moment and go back to my why. Lady Visionary, I'm speaking to myself. Kerry Ann, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you come to Rwanda? And going back to my why, it stopped me from getting back on that plane to go back to Europe, because I don't know what I would be going back to be honest. I would probably end up with a breakdown. Um, yes, I had to go back to my why and just, keep pushing, keep knocking on doors, keep believing, keep walking by faith. And, things are not where I want to be, but things are a lot more ahead and a lot better now than where I was when I started. And so I want to encourage other people as well that, don't just give up at the first hurdle. Go back to your why. If you need to take time out, just take time out and just, refocus and rethink about what you're doing. Maybe you need to change your strategy. Maybe you're not in the right area of business investment. Um, maybe you're not in the right area. So maybe you need guidance. Maybe you need to go back to the drawing board. But um, the the outcome does not necessarily mean that you need to go get back on a plane and head back to Europe or the Americas, because what exactly are you going back to? And that is the bigger question that I had to ask myself. And I was like, hell no. I called my husband. I was like, that ticket I was telling you to book, just forget it. I'm okay. I'm okay. Um, PT saying, though some have abused consultations as a service, this conversation highlights the value of good help and how it can save so much time and headache. Great commentary, Lady Visionary. Facts. Thank you so much, PT. So yes, and on that note, I guess I can say that I've been offering consultations for anybody who's interested to
Okay.
relocate and do business in Rwanda, and
Okay.
you know um, PT is right in what he's saying, because I think, and I do know, people will abuse it, because I know that it's such a shame as well that diasporans, it's not just local people who are taking advantage of the diasporans. What we're now finding is there are other diasporans who are taking advantage of other diasporans. So again,
Yes.
just being able to discern and just be patient. Don't rush, because when people see that you're rushing, you want to, you want this to happen so quickly, then they're like, right, that's an opportunity. So definitely have to be careful. But consultations can be so valuable, and I know the people who have done consultations with myself have found the information very valuable, and in a lot of cases it has saved, because it has saved them time and money. So my consultations are really geared towards giving you as much information as possible. You have to come to the consultations with questions. So what do you want to gain out of that consultation? You have to have your questions all prepared, right? And it's affordable, and I'm telling you, it will save you time. It will save you money. I even had one lady who um unfortunately lost quite a bit of money through a bad deal. And when I met her at the other end of it, she said to me, Lady Visionary, I wish I had consulted with you prior prior to going into this, because I regret this so much. And at that time, there was nothing I could do, because she'd already gone into this process and already had made certain decision which had tied her up. So yeah, I would say to anyone who's thinking about relocating to Rwanda and doing business in Rwanda, please reach out to me first for a consultation. Very, very affordable and useful, and potentially, yeah, will save you a lot of heartache, money, and waste of time. So yeah, you have to be very, very, unfortunately, very, very careful. Yeah, it's just one of those things. But in saying that, there are good people out there, because I don't want people to think that there are not good people out there, because there are good people out there. I've been so fortunate to bump into amazing people who have helped me along my journey and have not asked me for a penny. I feel like the ancestors felt like, hello?
Okay. No, go ahead.
I feel like the ancestors were like, my God, she's been through enough, so let's send some good people her way. So, I've just been very, very fortunate in that. And it's also taught me a lesson, I guess, and made me kind of more aware, and made me kind of more discerning as to, the people who want to be in my space and why. And that's been very, very helpful. Again, even with Diasporans as well. So, yeah, we just have to tread carefully, because it's a big decision. It's a big changing decision. And when you've been taken advantage of, when you lose money that you've saved up and you've worked hard for, it can be extremely discouraging and disheartening. So yeah, I totally understand. But anyway, ATM theme, thank you so much. I don't know if anyone else would like to jump on, but do stay connected, and yeah, let me know if you decide to come to Rwanda. I'll definitely see what I can do. Hopefully I'm around, because I'm also planning to do some travels. I've just kind of been stuck in Rwanda, but I'd love to see more of Africa. I keep saying that, but the current project requires a lot of my time and energy. So, I'm very focused on that, because a lot of businesses within the first 2-3 years, they fail. So knowing that, you just really have to put your best foot forward, and do all you can to ensure that it survives. So thank you again so much,
You're welcome.
Adrian.
And before I go, I wanted to tell you that I'm an electrician in America, and I wanted to take my talents to Africa and use my
Yeah.
talents out there in Africa. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But thank you so much for having me on your
Yeah.
platform, and you have a good one, and stay blessed.
Yes, there's definitely a need for you and your skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just connecting with the right organizations,
Mm-hmm.
um, and getting it off the ground, because there's definitely a need.
Okay. Thank you
All
so
right.
much, Lady Visionary.
Thank
Have a good one.
you, and take care, you too. So, Visionary family, hope you have enjoyed the conversation. I'll just send out the link again. For anyone who would like to join the conversation, add to the conversation, make sure you smash the like button, and please do consider supporting my channel with a super chat every time I'm live. Just a quick update. If anyone, I'm just trying to think on this particular topic whether there's anything that I've missed out. Um, but yeah, on another note, I would like to let you know how the library is progressing. So a lot of you know that I opened the first, I guess, African history library right here in Rwanda, specifically in Musanze. There has been a little bit of a challenge. We offer physical books, and we also offer digital books. We have we're the only library as well of this kind in the country that also offers a computer lab where our users can access the internet for learning and studying. Um, more recently, we received a donation that helped us to install a kitchen. So the kitchen is actually finished now as I speak. I went to see it yesterday, so the kitchen is finished. So we will be able to cook meals for the children and also offer, some basic meals and things for people who want to come and use our library, and diasporans and so on who would love to visit our project and can sit and have something nice to eat or drink. We do currently need ongoing support. Yesterday, the library was visited by a diasporan from the States who was also offered to make his contributions to the library. So we do need ongoing support for the library. So if that's something that you would love to support, please do consider that. Please do consider reaching out to me, projecthealtha@gmail.com. Usually all the details and how you can contact me would be in the description box. I'm also on Instagram, so you can contact me direct via DM, Lady Visionary. And for those of you who don't know, I also have my business, and my business Instagram is Twin Lakes Recreational Island. So you can also check us out on Instagram. And I am also on Twitter as Lady Visionary as well. I did send out the link for anybody who would love to join the conversation. I will be also ending this live chat shortly if we don't have anyone to make any further contributions. The link is in the chat, or if you have any specific questions, again, you can send the question. You can send your question in to the comment section. PT is saying, what's the best way to give so that you get the most money? Oh, it's really interesting because obviously if you donate on PayPal will take their little fee. If you send on World VMIT, they will take their fee. So it seems like every platform, but I'd say the best one that I found is World Remit. Yeah, World Remit seems to be quite good. And we do have a GoFundMe for the library. Oh my goodness, and I wanted to share this with you guys. Oh my goodness, we do have a GoFundMe for the library. I haven't shared this with you guys, but GoFundMe has given me hell for the library project. I think because I specifically said that it would be an African history library that focuses on Black history and Black representation. GoFundMe did freeze the funds for the last couple of months, so I haven't been able to actually access any money that has been raised via GoFundMe for the library. And so what I've been doing is basically funding everything out of pocket, because I was like, GoFundMe is not releasing the funds. They've been really complicated. I didn't even get $1 from the GoFundMe to do the work that I've currently been able to achieve at the library. It's all been out of pocket, although we're already kind of stretched. So it was only yesterday, through all the fighting and back and forth with GoFundMe and so on and so forth, that they decided to release the money that's been raised by GoFundMe. I can't believe it, guys. But yeah, it was only yesterday they decided to release the GoFundMe money. But for all these months, I haven't been able to access anything. So anyway, yes, regardless, we do need ongoing support for the library. We need more computers. We need tables, chairs, etc., etc. We need books, more physical books in the library. We also have another diasporan who said that she would donate some books to us Wandi has been of tremendous support. Thank you so much. He's a diasporan who's relocated from the States to Rwanda. Yeah, so yeah, we need books, we need computers, we need um, furnitures. Yeah. Yeah. So things are coming together slowly but surely. And we also have a new staff that will be starting with us on June 1st at the library. This is a young person who, again, we're giving a young person an opportunity, someone who wouldn't have a job otherwise. And these are ways in which that we can help with development in the country. We have to come and find solutions and recruit the young people, because as we mentioned earlier, unemployment is a significant issue on the continent. It's a significant issue in Rwanda. Let me just focus on Rwanda. So and the government is aware of that, and there has been progress. But again, us, the diaspora coming in, how can we um, how can we assist and be a part of development in Rwanda? How can we be a part of change in Rwanda? I just want to say thank you to PT for that super chat for the library. It's much appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. But I also want to encourage people that don't give up on your journey. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your hopes. Just because something gets challenging, it doesn't mean it's the end. It just means that you need to keep pushing. You need to keep going. You need to go back to your why. And I've emphasized that time and time again. I've shared my journey. I think I've tried to be as transparent as I can with regards to my journey, my challenges, my losses. One thing I also want to share with you guys, that one of the things I want to do is build a home on the continent. I haven't been able to do that as of yet. There's been certain things I've been trying to work on behind the scenes that hasn't worked out for me. And I've had my fair share of frustrations and knocking on doors, even up to last week. And after waiting over a year, things are starting to come together, and I'm so, so happy. I'm so relieved that I didn't give up. And I do see light at the end of the tunnel. And I know for a lot of us, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And we just have to be patient. We have to be resilient. We have to be willing to adapt. We have to push down the boundaries. It's going back to the West, going back to the Americas. What are we really going back to? Like, as I said, when I went to the UK a couple of weeks ago and I was there, I couldn't wait to get back to Rwanda. I couldn't wait to get back to Rwanda. I was like, I need to go back to Rwanda. I need to keep on working hard. I need to keep pushing down barriers. I need to keep knocking on doors. I need to keep going, because also this is something that I'm building for my children. And when I'm done, I need to pass the baton on to them. And it's the foundations that are so important that needs to be laid. That's going to help them and my grandkids that I may not even get to see, or my great grand, but it's not in vain. It's really not in vain. And I just want to encourage you guys to never give up on your dreams, never give up on your hopes, never give up on your calling, never give up on your purpose. Draw inspiration from our ancestors, how they were dragged from continent to continent, and look at us. We're still here. We're still here, despite the fact that they tried to wipe us out, we are still here. Like what we've been through, I think that we should be extinct, but we're still here. That carries a lot of weight. We're still here, right? Is it Inesta? Good job, Lady Visionary. Once one steps feet is on its feet on the motherland, you feel alive again. I know there are challenges, so it is opportunities if we are devoted, patient, and hardworking. Most definitely. Um, yeah, and I think I emphasized on that. Just finding a business opportunity out of a problem. So finding a solution out of a problem and turning that into a business opportunity that can employ young people in Rwanda, in Africa. Kiri Rains, you are a true visionary leader. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. So, guys, I am going to close up now, and I do want to say thank you again. You could be anywhere else, as I say in many of my lives. I know I sound like a broken record to some. But yes, you could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here with me to join the conversation. And I really do appreciate you, each and every one of you. A lot of you have been with me for the longest time. A lot of you, like PT and his wife, who's visited me in Rwanda, seen my project when it was on the ground, and then just seeing me give birth to the project. That's one of the project, the hotel project that I've given birth to, and so many others, like the library project and so on and so forth. And there's so much that is still yet to come. But one thing I've also recognized, like my brain, Lady Visionary, is someone who's always thinking, how can I be better? I'm always seeing opportunities, but I cannot do it all because I've actually burnt out in Rwanda before. And that has allowed me to kind of step back and be like, when I feel myself getting overwhelmed, when I feel myself just doing too much, I have to be like, okay, no, that's too much, And I meet a lot of people who are very excited about coming to Rwanda, and they want Lady Visionary to help them with this and help them with that. And oh my God, I'm so willing to do that. But I also want people to know that I am a human being, and I do also get exhausted. So don't get upset with me if I say no, or don't get upset with me if I'm, not able to engage on the level that you want me to engage. But I will always be there to give the support that I can. But I'm not able to give my 100% in everything because I have my own projects that I need to focus on. And even that can be overwhelming. One of the things I didn't talk about, and I just want to say that this, we have to also, when we're thinking about building a business and employing young people or employing people in general, we have to understand the skill sets that we have. In a lot of cases, 95% of the people that you employ, you need to give ongoing training. You need to repeat yourself like sometimes 100 times. That can be so draining. You need to train. You cannot assume that people know exactly what you need them to do. You have to set the standards. You have to set the code of conduct. You you have to be able to you have to be willing to give people the training and the time that they need to learn their job role. And as I said, that can be extremely challenging. I've faced my own challenges as someone who has started a hotel and various other projects and recruiting and dealing with the skill sets that are not here. And as I said, one of the great things about Rwanda is that they recognize that the young people of Rwanda need to skill up, and they are investing more and more in the young people. So we have to be mindful of that, and we have to be patient, and we have to be willing to play our part as much as we can. So thank you guys so much. I've really enjoyed having you all here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Couldn't thank you enough. If you do want to reach out to me, please do so via email. I usually have all the details down below in the description bar. And be sure to follow the journey. Take care, guys, and I'll see you again in the other one. Or I didn't see you in this one, or you will see me in the next one, should I say? Because usually I don't. Usually you guys see me here live, but not today. But in the next one, definitely, I'll see you guys. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. Make sure you smash the like button. Take care wherever you are.